All right, all right. Welcome to another episode of Deal Makers. Today, I am very excited to welcome Bobbie Mastracci from Phoenix West Commercial. I'm going to see if I can bring her in live here. Bobbie, welcome to the program.
Hi, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy to be here, Sean.
Yeah, you're coming through loud and clear. Bobbie, I want to take a second for anyone who doesn't know you, just to give you, 30 seconds to give us your background real quick. And I have a kind of a special introduction for you too. My favorite deal that I've ever worked on in Goodyear, Arizona, in your backyard, is one that your team helped lease up and significantly increase the value of the property. So I got to know you because I was seeking out, the top firm in that area who specialized in this asset class, and every other listing that I saw was one of Phoenix West. And so it was impossible to not bump into you. And then I think 3 or 4 other brokers who, as soon as they knew I was working on a West Side deal, they said, Bobbie is who you call. You are the West Side of commercial real estate, and the commercial real estate West Side is you. So maybe you'll work that into your introduction, but I thought that was fun and special, and that everyone needs to know that who's tuning into the program. But tell us a little bit more about your background in commercial.
Thank you, Sean. I've been in real estate for 20 years, started out in Tucson, was recruited up here into Phoenix, landed in the West Valley and just made and embraced the community. So we pretty much primarily focus in the West Valley of Phoenix. We've done deals all over the state of Arizona. We opened our practice in 2012. Worked with Don Bennett since 2006, primarily focused on land and development, and then went into investment sales with CCIM, pinning in 2008. But yeah, so we have a team of about 6 agents right now, primarily focused in different sectors, and just working with the community and to bring new deals and to help our clients grow. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we should talk about the alphabet soup that follows your name and all the impressive designations. I've, working in the business day in and day out, met a lot of CCIMs and SIORs. I don't know if I know anyone who has both of these designations. So for those of us who aren't commercial real estate professionals, will you bring everybody up to speed on what that means and maybe what the value is for your clients?
Right. Thank you. Yeah, there's not many that hold both designations. I'm very proud of both of them. I have my pins on right here. Yeah, so CCIM, I got that in 2008, and it was laborious. My portfolio is about 3 inches tall. Lots of education, gives you the foundation of commercial real estate. They used to call it the doctorate of commercial real estate.
Yeah.
Got to prove yourself. You got to do the portfolio, do the work, and then SIOR is another challenge in itself. So not so much primarily focused on the education aspect of it, but you sure have to do a ton of deals, know what you're doing, and it's very big on ethical standards and a great bunch of guys. Everybody's very, very professional, respectable. Being a female in this industry was quite the challenge just to get a call back, let alone be embraced by the other brokers. So yeah, I love my guys. I love everybody that, in SIR and CCIM. And it's great that we're starting to get back and see each other in person. So.
Yeah, because those 2 groups do a lot of networking, and I've bumped into a few of the CCIM mixers. It's like a brotherhood or a sisterhood. Like once you're in, and like you're part of a very special group. And I think you guys do a great job of referring to one another as well. And is CCIM more retail centric? SIOR is more industrial. Do I have that right, or is CCIM comprehensive of everything?
So CCIM is comprehensive of everything. It's more user, investor, every sector, where SIOR is Society of Industrial and Office Realtor, and CCIM is Certified Commercial Investment Members. They're both an international organization, and being a boutique brokerage, it helps us reach internationally. and being involved in the institute level or the organization level, it allows you to travel and meet a lot of people and build relationships from outside of your state. So it kind of gives us, myself and the brokerage, the opportunity to compete with your larger firms that always have that national reach. So
great point. I mean, that's a follow-up question right there. And, what makes you guys a little bit unique and different? You could have done CBRE or Colliers or one of these monster brokerages, but you had the maybe the cojones to go out and start your own shop. What does that mean for your clients? It's a little bit different, but I like it. And you guys are very specialized. I think, like I started out in the beginning, you're known for a part of town that you work in, and not everyone does that. They can be kind of generalists in some cases.
Yeah. So kind of a generalist, but primarily focused in a geographic area. It's the best way that I could hone in. And being the West Valley was so underdeveloped when I started, you had no choice but to gravitate to every sector and learn it the best that you could, and get to know all the movers and shakers within your community, doing Rotary and church and economic development and just GPAC and Arizona Commerce Authority, just really digging in and getting your name out there and getting known was really part of it. Our brokerage, we're all, I don't want to say it's mandatory, but it's expected that you go through the CCIM courses and get your designation. And then SIOR is a little bit of a longer journey because you need 4 or 5 years of proven deals. So, and the number's pretty high, but so we work towards both. And that gives us a pretty good foundation of knowledge and being able to service our clients. Did that answer your question, Sean?
No, that was good. And then kind of part 2 is, do you want to get into some of the details of, you're a business owner, you're a designated broker, you're a very active agent, and you're wearing a lot of hats. I can imagine juggling that is exciting. Do you want to share a little bit of what that's like with us?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's pretty fun. A lot of hats. So I work a lot of hours like you, just up all the time and go. But I have a great team, right? I have a great transaction coordinator, admin, a lot of support. My family owns the brokerage, so everybody does their part. And it's just really fun. The team that we have, everybody works together. So the culture here is collaboration. We don't hide anything. We have a shared database where, you can see who I'm working with, what I'm working on, what they're working, so that we can support one another. So we have round tables weekly, and we do a lot of deals together because we talk through them. Like this industry is not all about brick and mortar. It's about the people. And it's important that our clients feel that they're not just a number. They're important to us. And that's our why, if you will, that, it's all about the client, the community, making sure that we ask questions that maybe they never even thought of, and building on that exit strategy and building wealth for them. But it's also embracing the community to make sure that we put the right people in the right place for success. And we take it to heart. Like if we can't get the job done, or if it's stalled, or we take that professionally and personally. Like it's really, really important to us that our clients feel that they're not just a number. And and that's the people that I surround myself with and that's kind of the luxury as a broker and the owner of the company, that we can kind of pick and choose who we want to be with. And we're all focused towards, creating wealth for our clients and ourselves. Like we're all looking at deals and how we're going to go in as a brokerage or a team and buy these deals and work together to build each other up.
So let's get into some of the deals. And by the way, I couldn't agree with you more. You have the opportunity to choose your A team, and build all those amazing folks around you to to get so many wonderful things accomplished. But would love to hear from you, a fun or exciting recent deal that you've worked on, or maybe one that's on the cusp of closing, or both. But would love to hear what's happening on the ground day in and day out in your backyard.
Awesome. So I closed a deal early this year in Verrado. It's an off-market deal. It's doing some investigation and to put a tenant in. The space was vacant for years. They wanted a restaurant and only a restaurant. So any deal that you would bring them, if it wasn't a national credit tenant, that was a food user, they were pretty much not doing the deal. Okay. So in investigating, I noticed that they hadn't paid their real estate taxes. So I was like, oh, this may be a good investment deal. Maybe they need help with their financials, which kind of wasn't the case, but it gave me a foot in the door and actually represented the buyer. It was a 1031 exchange, so we pushed through it. And during the transaction, they leased up, finally had the lease negotiated for that vacant space, which brought value for my client as well, and did that deal. It was quite challenging negotiating a brand new lease through the seller with the buyer, and then you have to do the build out after close and so that was a lot, but that was a lot of fun. So that was an off-market deal. And then I found another off-market deal and Surprise we're closing on in a couple weeks. So I can't give you the details, but being off-market and transitioning with their property management and their underwriting of the property, if you will, it was they were changing. So as far as the seller goes, they had internal issues. So the timing wasn't ideal, but I'm grateful that they let us in the door and that we could get this transaction pulled together. But you called me a couple weeks ago. I'm like, I am so buried in this, just pulling all the leases and Excel sheets and figuring out, okay, so it's a brand new construction. They don't have their operating expenses established. So how do we really get to a true NOI? And then there's caps on the triple nets so that it doesn't go over a certain amount. And so great negotiation skills with the tenants reps that had put them in there to know enough to put a cap on year one. And but yeah, we got through it and we're getting ready to close. And that was, my client was very happy in the details and everything that we had to go through, and just side by side dug through it. But one I'd like to talk about, Sean, if I may, is in Bobbie. That was a couple years ago. It was 60,000 square feet, multi-tenant. The buyer was coming out of multifamily, went into retail, so night and day. Wanted to do his own property management. Was not my recommendation, but I would like the property manager to stay on for at least 30 to 60 days to kind of make the transition, right? Yeah. But during it, the Chase Bank was expiring in a couple of years, and we were able to go in there and negotiate a 10-year renewal with Chase. And a couple other of the tenants were up for it. So they allowed me to go in there, negotiate, get some deals done. Like there was a 6,000 square foot PT group in there, and just went in and had heart-to-heart talk with them to find out what they're going through and how could we get you to stay longer. But the goal was, if I can get these to renew longer, then my client could get a longer 10-year fixed rate on his financing. Right. And that worked out. Yeah. So
that question comes up a lot for me from my investors, like how long is the loan term? And what I've learned from most bankers is they want to match the length of the lease up to the length of the loan, right? So you got 7-year leases, they want to give you a 7-year loan or less, right? You got 10-year leases, they'll entertain the 10-year money. Is that generally the case?
Yes. Yeah, that was our goal. Yeah. And it worked. So he got a phenomenal deal on his financing and long-term tenants and stabilized. Beautiful center. but that was a lot of due diligence and digging and a lot of negotiation behind the scene, and it was all contingent upon him closing escrow too. So it's nice when you have a seller on the other side and the seller's agent who helps and understands and nourishes the transaction, as opposed to, no, we're not doing that.
Right.
So I've had the luxury to work with a lot of really great brokers on the other side. So thank you guys. Appreciate you.
Well, and I think, that's something that maybe not every broker does, and certainly someone who isn't, seasoned or tenured, is to be able to go in and do some of the heavy lifting that it sounds like you've done on multiple transactions, where you're getting in and like helping your client do a lot of their due diligence. For someone, buying their first commercial property or investing alongside someone in a commercial property, that can be a really intimidating thing. It's very different from residential. If they bought a couple rentals, this is a whole different ballgame, right? You're doing forensic accounting and environmental studies and all sorts of things that just could be very foreign to someone getting started in this space. So I think that's a testament to the amount of work that you put in and, the knowledge that you bring. So we're all grateful for that.
Thank you, Sean. It's fun.
Yeah, it is. And I think like you put in all that time and energy, and then you create, like you said, so much value during the escrow. You're able to mitigate some of the risk, pop that NOI, increase the value of the building, so they're walking in probably with built-in equity, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Yeah, and their success is my success, right? So it's kind of like the herbal essence commercial. I'm dating myself. But she tells two friends, and they tell two friends, and they tell two friends, and like 95% of my business is referral based. So
that's amazing.
Works out.
Since you're the queen of the West Valley, I'd love for you to spend a minute or two just talking about, what you've seen over the last year or even 3 to 5 years. I think, people know Phoenix. They don't necessarily know the West Valley. And then people investing nationally may not be, aware of what's happening in that little pocket or submarket. You want to spend a minute, just kind of bringing us up to speed on what you've seen, or maybe what you're most excited about in your backyard.
Oh gosh, what I'm so excited about is, and our group, the West Valley Commercial Real Estate Group, we started in 2007, begging other brokers to cross over I-17 to come see our listings so that we could get deals done. And now they're all here. They're like, wow, look at this. But so I remember Nathan back in, maybe right out of the recession, he said 52% of the future growth is in the West Valley of Phoenix, and it's holding true. And you drive down the road and you see, oh my gosh, that wasn't there yesterday. It's just exploding with development. We just landed the lagoon, the Water Lagoon Park on 101 in Glendale next to Westgate. Westgate's full, vibrant. You have that Water Lagoon with hotels and 100,000 square feet of new office coming. It's just putting us on the map. And we got Top Golf, which, always having to go over to Scottsdale to play Top Golf for networking. Like, okay, guys, now it's time to come to the West Valley. Come over here and see what we have to offer. So it's been great. We have the infrastructure. There's Luke Air Force Base, which is a huge economic contributor to our area, and a lot of industrial had to be built here because of the noise contour lines and the crash zones, and they're pretty much following that with the development around it. So with all those, that you're bringing jobs, you're bringing support for them, for the industrial. We have some corporate office buildings being built. So we're just embracing some new technology and new companies, corporate companies coming to the area. Medical's on fire. Just vibrate. You have to come take a drive through. And what's fun is there's a lot of dirt, but it's all slated for. It's all paper ready and development slated, and you're going to see a lot of dirt moving. So, and Google can't keep up with it. So you can't just do Google Earth. Exactly. So we're hiring drones and getting drone shots done of our listings and just really pushing it.
Okay, I have a selfish question here, and maybe those tuning in will enjoy this too. But I'm always fascinated to hear what your personal favorite investment would be right now. And I think about it in the context of, I'm trying to deploy, a few $1,000,000 into my next deal, but someone else might be, investing as a group or alongside someone where they're putting $100,000 into a deal. So you can approach it from both ways. But, Bobbie, if you were going to park $250,000 or 2.5 million in a deal, what would you want to go out and buy right now? What would it look like? Where would it be located? Is it stabilized? Is it value add? Like you can be selfish and your favorite. Where you write the check.
Well, talk about quinones, right, Sean? That's you, the guy that goes out, puts lipstick on a pig, and dresses it up and flips it. You're that's my favorite. I would love to be able to find, so the West Valley, we don't have as many old properties, right? We're the baby of the valley. So there's very little out there that's not leased up or older that we could do a lipstick. And some of the ones that, Eli and I found, they won't sell. And we're just calling and just, why don't you sell? You're vacant. You're not paying any attention to it. Let's get it sold. There's opportunity zones. So there's one on Yuma, Litchfield, a shopping center that has been owned by generations after generation. It would be an awesome location to go in and redevelop. And I like stabilized. I like going in and kind of doing what I did in Tempe, is to renegotiate, build value, extend leases, troubleshoot what's going on. Those are my favorite. I'm not afraid of office. A lot of people are, so you could get a better cap rate on it.
Okay.
Especially a mix. Like we have on Pebble Creek, we have a 20,000 square foot office and 6,400 square foot retail. The lease with the office is a government lease. There's 10 years on it. To me, that doesn't make me afraid, because when we did the drone shot, like there's the city of Goodyear's building their headquarters right behind us. You have 100,000 square foot office, Class A, that Globe is doing on spec. So it's just exploding all around it. If you're in the middle of growth and the direction is growth, that's to me an indicator that you're going to do well with that.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite asset class at the moment? Office has been beat up a little bit. Retail has been beat up in the press, at least. I can't find any value add deals. I can't find any vacancy, which is not what you hear out there when you kind of listen to the media.
Yeah, exactly.
Retail versus office, what would you pick? Or is it a hybrid or a flex deal?
Oh, I like the hybrid. Flex is too hot. You're going to pay out the nose for it, right? And they're trading quickly. I got my start in medical office, so in the investment. So I would team up with my client, the doctors, and there's been a lot of changes in medical and the amount that they can collect from insurance companies, and just a lot of uncertainty. So what we've done is gone out and purchased several different properties over the years, not all at once, and would occupy the building 51% so they could do an SBA loan and then lease out the balance of it and build wealth. So when we meet up, we talk about what's your exit strategy and building their retirement plan. So now a lot of them have 4 or 5 different locations. They're occupying a part of it. So not only has their medical business expanded, their wealth and real estate has as well. So let's take a look at their exit strategy, right? Now they can sell their practice as a whole or individually. They can sell the real estate. They can stay on as a landlord. Some of the conditions of their business sale could be, hey, look, you got to sign a 10-year lease here to get this transaction. Now you're building more wealth in your real estate.
Yeah.
And then they can decide, do I want to be a property manager and collect rent? Do I want, hire a property manager is my recommendation. But just collect the money, or do you sell it all, 1031 into something? Like do you have children that you're going to leave this to? Like everybody's different, right? Everybody has different ideas. So one of my favorite is Verado, right? We bought gosh, the amount of money we paid for that dirt, they were selling 1 acre pads for. We bought about 4.5 acres. We developed two of the four, but we broke it into 4 parcels. That was some creative endeavor too. So we had to break up the parcels into 4 so that each parcel could be built as with an SBA loan. So one doctor built his building, leased out 51%. We have a tenant in one of them. We have about, a couple thousand square feet left over. The other one built his 10,000 square foot building, occupied 51%. We have a little bit of vacancy left there. And now we have 2 1-acre pad sites left that we will build and lease out. So it gives them a huge retirement plan. And they're out looking for more dirt to do other stuff because it went so well.
Yeah, I bet you smoked what their financial planner had planned for them, and you're creating multimillionaires, really generational wealth if
yes.
Someone is following what you're talking about. And we've got the for-profit centers happening where their loans are getting paid down, and there's cash flow, and there's tax advantages, and then the appreciation that I think is almost guaranteed in your backyard, especially with the amount of money that we're printing right now and what's happening to the value of the dollar. Fixed assets are a great place for us to be able to hedge against some of that insane inflation that I think we're coming up against. Yes,
right.
No?
Gradual. I don't think they'll kill us, but it's coming.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you gave us a good preview there, but I'm thinking about, some of the prospective clients that might be out there, listening. So, who are the folks that you tend to work with? Is it landlords, tenants, buy side, sell side? I know your office does leasing. Let us know who should reach out to you for what types of situations. And then I'll also pull up your email so that they can track you down as well here.
Thank you. I love doing investment sales. So to me, that's my main focus, and building wealth for clients that want to occupy part of it. So SBA, office, medical, retail, all over the state. It doesn't just have to be West Valley. I tend to hang in the West Valley because I know it, sleep it, breathe it, know everything about it. So that tends to be, and there's so much growth opportunity out here.
Yeah.
But I love investment sales. My firm does everything. So the brokerage represents every sector and tenants and buyers. So if we buy a property and it has vacancy, like what we did for you, Sean, we went in and leased it up and then can sell it for you. So we can do it all. The only thing we don't do is property management, but we have a lot of good referrals. So we have a pretty good A team. We do land, just like when we bought that 4.5 acres for those doctors. It was dirt, and pulled together a great A team. Ron Barrett with Braden Management, did it. He's an amazing. So he helped facilitate the financing and dividing up the minor land division. And so I guess just call me and I will ask the appropriate questions, help you figure out what's in your best interest as far as my professional opinion. And if I can't handle it or my brokerage cannot handle it, you better believe I'll find somebody that can help you.
Yeah, you're so connected. You know everyone in town, and you've been doing this long enough. And I know you're very involved in those organizations. I think you covered so many of these things already over the last half hour. But if you want to kind of finish off our session here and just share why your clients pick you to list their properties over and over again, or pick you to represent them, in the cases where they do, versus, all the other options out there. What do you think is separating you in those instances?
I think it is because it's all about our client and the community, right? So, and I know a lot of great brokers out there that are well situated and really care as well, but I really go above and beyond. I try to under promise and over deliver. Do I fall short? Yeah, I'm human, right? But I think that if you really want somebody to care about your outcome and really focus and not be just a number, that we're the brokerage for you. I know it's a lot of challenges as far as getting like a huge corporate to go behind you or corporate representation. Some of the CEOs are a little hesitant to use a boutique brokerage because their job's on the line as well. But I guarantee you we can hang with the big guys. We can make you look good for sure. We're professional. We do great presentations and very competitive in marketing and getting the word out there. But I guess our why is because it's all about you.
Yeah, I love it. And I couldn't agree more. And I would absolutely vouch for you guys across the whole West Valley, and appreciate all that you've done for me and my portfolio, and the amount of value that you guys created for that property in Goodyear. So I'll be forever grateful. And thank you, Bobbie, for taking the time out of your busy schedule to do this. Thank you for everyone who tuned in and listened live. Bobbie's email is up here on the screen. She's active all over the interwebs. So track her down, give her a call, and let us know, if you want to punch in the chat box, any follow-up questions, her and I can try and tackle those. And have a great week. Take care, everyone.
Thanks,
Bobbie.
Bye.
Take care.